Hello and welcome to day 87 in this quest for a 2000 rapid rating on chess.com. Alright, we have the white pieces, so we'll play e4 and they play c5, so knight to f3. Okay, so they're playing normal Sicilian moves. We'll go here. See what they decide to play in response. All right. Well, at least that has them thinking a little bit already. They're probably used to people playing d4 here. Then they capture, you capture with your knight, then they bring the other knight out attacking this pawn, then you protect with your pawn. That's the standard open Sicilians. Okay, so here, we could play something a little different. I think this was in my opening repertoire book, but hopefully I'm not getting it incorrect here. Now, if they capture, then it doubles this pawn up, but it'll keep the knight from developing. We can push this pawn and gain space on the queen side. Okay, so they ignore that. We can go ahead and just jump our knight up. So do we go ahead and do that? That looks like a decent move. And now we'll see what they decide here. Now, they could just jump their knight in. All right. So now I'm wondering if I should get rid of their bishop here, but that would kind of help them develop their knight. So should we go ahead and push forward here? Or do we castle? I'm going to go ahead and just castle. All right. So now let's go ahead and push forward here in the center. Try and gain space. If they capture, we'll bring our knight up here. All right, so they go ahead and capture. We should recapture. And if they decide not to attack us there. So let's see. Should we get rid of their good bishop with our bad bishop? But that would help them develop a knight. So we could threaten their knight. Let's see, should we go ahead and do that? If we threaten their knight, I don't know. Then they could just... All right, I'm gonna get rid of their good bishop here. They'll probably go with the knight recapture. And if they do, that'll give me time. Well, probably need to go here to keep his knight out of g4. Okay, so the knight does capture. Now we can go here. We probably should have done that immediately. Immediately brought up our bishop. Because now we have this unprotected pawn. His bishop's looking strong. But my goal is to push forward here. All right. Well, what do? We have to protect that, with something like that. We have to watch out that bishop lining up down here. All right, all right. All right, we need to do that. Definitely need to do that. And bring our queen up. We have to get this rook off this line of his bishop here. Okay. Well, I say we ignore that now. Just push forward here. Ignore that, push forward. Now we have to get this rook off of this diagonal. We don't want any surprises. We do not want any surprises there. Okay. Well, now we might as well line up here. And maybe first I should have... Well, I need to try and knock out his... I could probably capture. Yeah, maybe capture that knight. Normally you don't want to, in a Sicilian, you don't want to capture this knight and then pull his pawn into the center here. You normally don't want to do that. But I don't know, maybe I could try and... then that would keep this knight from being able to move forward. So if he jumps his knight here, I could always just attack it and then he would just have to drive or go back. All right. All right. Well, how do I improve this position? If I go here, this pawn will be unprotected. The queen could maybe target it. Should I jump forward here? Maybe try something like that. At least it puts this knight in a better position. All right. Now, if I attack his bishop, well, I can't do that. He could capture and pull my queen away. So let's go ahead and attack there and see what happens. He could just retreat back and then try and jump his knight into here. Which might be fine with me, because then I could push this f-pawn forward and keep pieces out of this e5 square. And I wonder if I should... All right, well, he's doing that. So let's go ahead and capture. Now, if he captures with the queen... Okay, he does not. Well, we probably should pile up here. Just line up on their queen. See what they do next. All right. Well, I'm a little more familiar with this opening because years ago I used to play this opening, well, a similar opening to this, the Maroczy bind in the Sicilian, where you have the e4 pawn and the c4 pawn, which covers this d5 square. Because a lot of times in the Sicilian, they want to push this d5 pawn forward and kind of free their position. And so you want to kind of line everything up on it. Now I'm threatening to capture here. Well, they could capture with their rook. I was thinking if they capture with the pawn, which they like to do a lot of times because it pulls this pawn towards the center and helps support this d5 square to be able to push their d-pawn forward. But if they do that, I could just capture this this d6 pawn. So they would probably capture with their rook to help protect that. All right, well, let's see how this plays out. At least my opponent is burning up some time thinking here. Sometimes they push this e pawn to e5, but then that'll leave them with this weak backward pawn here. So will he, go ahead and trade off in the center? Capture with the knight. Then we capture with the bishop. I don't know. If we traded off our knights and bishops and my queen would end up here, then he would have to bring his rook up to help guard this pawn. And then we could just start pushing forward here, getting ready to attack his rook. And I have to watch out, though, for this diagonal. If the queen, jumps down here to this diagonal, checking my king or lining up on my king, that could be a possible issue. All right, so what will they play here? Maybe he's thinking about pushing d5. If he does that, then what? We capture. So if he plays d5 now, we have two pawns covering it, and he only has one protecting it. So if he pushes forward, what should we do? We want to capture with the c pawn probably. And we could end up having material traded off, these rooks traded off as well. So maybe that's what he's thinking about, trying to figure out if he should push his d pawn up here to d5, and then what will happen after that. All right, well, at least someone else is burning off all their time instead of me like normal. Usually I'm the one that's just running out of time because, I don't know, I guess I think too long sometimes trying to find the perfect move. And you can't always do that, of course. Sometimes you just have to find a good move, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Because, how many games have I lost where I just ran out of time? I just had one recently. So you have to avoid that for sure. All right, well, they are taking a long time here. Okay, finally, they move that. Okay, well, what does that move do? It threatens to pile up here on things. All right. So what does this move do? By going here, he could threaten to move a rook over here and line up on my queen. Now, if I capture his knight and he recaptures with a queen or a pawn, I capture with my queen here. I don't know. It looks like, did he maybe make a mistake now? So let me think about this, because it looks like he may have made a little mistake. If I capture on c6, he captures with the queen or the pawn, then I can just move here and capture, targeting his queen. So I don't know. That looks like that works for me. What could he do afterwards? All right, we'll just go after it and we get this extra pawn. And if he attacks my... Well, either way, he's going to have to recapture this knight. And then I will be able to pick off this pawn. And then if he targets me with a rook, I will be able to capture his queen. All right. Well, we'll be able to snatch up this this pawn next, the d6 pawn. Just have to make sure there aren't any surprises. All right. Well, and now they're thinking about that. So either way, okay, they do that. So now we can just go ahead, snatch up this pawn and go ahead in material here. And we're attacking their queen. Okay. Now what would be best here? Well, now we should just protect that pawn. Do we just drop back here, attacking the queen again? I think so. All right. That works for me. We just drop back, protect our pawn, attack the queen. And just let them burn off more of their time. Now they're behind by a pawn. So I've mentioned this many times before. Whenever you're behind a pawn, you want to trade off if you're behind a pawn, you want to avoid trading pieces and you want to trade off pawns. The reason is, as you get rid of all these pawns, even if they have an extra piece. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was getting focused on what they were doing. All right, anyway, if you have the extra pawn, you want to try to trade off the rest of their material and promote your extra pawn. If you're the person defending and you're down a pawn, you want to avoid trading pieces and get rid of as many pawns as you can. So let's see what they do here. So they're really taking a lot of time now. And the clock is ticking down, so he could just slide back up here. And then what would be best for us? Maybe move over here to guard that pawn. Although, if he moves his queen up, what might be the best thing to do then? If he moves his queen up to back up to here, I mean, do we attack that queen again? And then just go back and forth? I mean, that would just, I don't know if we want to go for a draw, especially with them so low on time. So if they move up here, what should our plan be? Maybe we move our queen out of the way. And at some point we want to try and double our rooks up on this open file. You know, maybe we want to try and trade off the bishop. We could just attack his bishop here. But I don't know. I probably should keep my bishop on this line here, guarding my king. Man, I don't know why they're taking so much time here. Maybe they're having, well, it doesn't say they're having computer problems. Excellent connection. So, I don't know. It makes me wonder why. Maybe he just got tired of playing down a piece here. Huh, it looks like he's just going to let the time run out. Okay, finally, he moves here. Okay. What should we do now? Well, probably just move our queen over here. You know, or do we move our queen here? If we move our queen here, you know, that's interesting that he let his time run down to 14 seconds like that. So what should we try now? Well, I don't know. I'm thinking we just... Oh, he might be trying a sneaky little setup here, pushing this pawn forward. And then if we take, he goes after this. So... Oh, and he's threatening to attack this rook here. He's threatening to attack the rook. Huh. Alright, so that move was a little sneakier than I thought. He's threatening to attack that rook. And then if I move the rook, he could block it off here. Alright, so what should we do? Should we attack? Should we attack here? Alright, he wants to go after my pawn by blocking with his bishop. So All right, well, he can't do that. He can't block with this bishop. If we just bring a rook up, if we just go there and bring a rook up, we'll just guard that. Now his bishop can't come down there. All right, so we just go there. And we have control of this open file. So, what are they going to do? They're going to have to capture here. All right. Guess we'll put the question to him. All right, now we should just trade off queens and have our king or our extra pawn available. So, how do we want to do this? Guess we'll do that. And now we just bring our king out to the center. Okay, so we got to figure out how to play our pawns here. We definitely need to get our king moving. Out towards the center. So we'll go ahead and do that. All right. So he's doing a good job. He's behind in material and he's trading off pawns. So that is good. Now, what do we want to do? Just move our king up, I guess. Do we push this pawn forward? Or do we ignore all that? I'll say we just move our king into the center. Move our king up towards the center. All right. So we get our king to the center. And now, do we block there? Block his pawn off. All right. Hmm. All right, we'll go there. Kind of limit the scope of his king. All right. What should we try to do here? All right. We have to use these pawns. Okay. Probably just need to capture here. Yeah, that's the best option, is to go ahead and capture. Now we're really limiting what he can do. Okay. Oh, now he could drop back and attack here. Okay, so, or not drop back, move his bishop forward and line up on this. Then what do I do? Oh, actually, I should push forward here. I should just push forward and make a passed pawn. All right, so at least that has him thinking here. All right. Okay, what next here? What next? Let's see. So we got time. And what will he try to do here? We could just move over here. Then what will he do? If we move over this way, he could check us. All right. Well, the other option is to push that pawn. Then the king will have to go up here. Or no, he'll have to... Oh, wait a minute. If we push that, he's under attack. He has to move his bishop. Okay, that might be the option. If we push this pawn, attacking his bishop, the bishop has to move. The bishop could just move here. Oh, where does it go? the bishop moves up there. All right, anyway, that's what we're doing. All right. Well, now we have him kind of trapped in there. So what do? We just back our bishop up. All right, so we got to do something about this bishop. And what should we do there? If we push the pawn, then the king goes up. Well, then if we push there, we can just start moving around over to here and try and target his pawns. Or should we just back up here? We'll go back to there, see what he does. See what he does. All right. Well, now do we go after his bishop? Do we go after his bishop here? And then, okay, I got to do a quick count. If we go here, he captures, we capture, his king captures. We go 1, 2, we start attacking here. So maybe that is what we should try. We'll just try that. Probably should have kept that bishop on there because now he can take and pick off the pawn. And I'll be able to try and run over here and grab his pawns. Okay. Well, if I go there, see what he does next. All right. Well, I should do that. And then, do I pick this off or not? That is the question. Do I pick that off or not? I don't know. It might be headed to a draw here. All right. I think it's a draw. Sorry, I haven't been speaking. I was like so focused on just watching this. I think it's just a draw. Um, let's see. See, yeah, now this pawn is not far enough forward here. Yeah, so it's just pretty much a draw now. Maybe I had a chance earlier in the game. I shouldn't have left myself with this rook pawn. All right, maybe I bring my king up here. Let's see. Bring my king up there. Yeah, I mean, this should be a draw. Okay. If I go here, all right, we'll just go there. They're the higher rated player. Normally, you want a higher rated player to offer the draw. So, all right, go there. See what they do. Okay, come on. This is just a draw already. Let's just go back up. Let's check him, see what he does. Oh, wait, can't do that. Gotta go here. All right, what do we want to do now? About we go there. Hmm. It's a draw. Come on. Ugh. Oh my gosh, take the bishop already and then it's a draw. This is sorry everybody, this game is going on forever and ever here. Yeah, I don't even know what they're trying to do by just playing on and on here. Huh. I don't know. This is just odd that they're going on and on here. Finally, man, I don't know. That was kind of just ridiculous. Sorry, we just went on forever. Let's take a quick look at this game review, see what chances I had. I played at 90.4 versus their 90%. And it looks like I did have an advantage here in the middle or early first half of the game and let it fizzle away, I guess. So there's something that happened here where they had an advantage earlier in the game. Okay, we both had one great move. We had, let's see, I had one inaccuracy, they had three. I had two mistakes, they had four. I had two misses, and they had one. A nice even game. Let's take a look and review together. All right, start this review. So this was the Sicilian defense. Let's see here. Man, it's just blasting through these moves. Okay, didn't like this move. This was a mistake. You ignored an opportunity to develop a bishop off its starting square. Okay, yeah, I should have probably put that bishop right here on e3. So let's see. Yep, because at the moment, the knight can't jump down here and harass it, which is normally why you want to go to f3 to keep the knight from chasing your bishop, because the queen is covering that square at the moment. All right, so next we had... All right, so we grab a pawn. We're ahead by +1. And let's see. Yeah, it looks like we had some opportunities here. They did not like that pawn push. Okay, so what should I have done instead? Okay. Well, I thought if I went there, he could just check me. And then I have to move back over. Or do I try to move over here? No, I can't. I'd have to move back to protect my bishop. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what they were trying to do by playing on. I don't usually offer draws to the higher rated opponent. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, and they just kept their bishop. I mean, I don't know if they were trying to run me out of time, if they were mad that they were losing to a lower rated opponent and they just kept playing. Okay, it says the game ended in a draw by repetition because the same position with the same side to move has been repeated 3 times. So it says you had a pretty competitive game there. Both of you played an amazing opening. It was a well-fought middle game that you got the better of. Although you played a great end game, your opponent did even better. All right, so we both played at a 2100 level. I played a 99.4 opening accuracy. They played 98.9, 89.1 in the middle game versus their 82.7. And then in the end game, I had 89.3 and they had 90.8. All right, let's take a quick look at some of the analysis here. So e4, c5, the Sicilian defense. Knight to f3 and d6. Now, why do they move this d6 pawn, or this pawn up to d6? Well, it guards e5 here, so when they have to bring this knight out, we can't just chase the knight away. They could capture this pawn if we push it forward. And, you know, it lets them develop their bishop as well. Okay, bishop to b5. So we go ahead and aim at their king, checking. They have different options here. Knight to d7, knight to c6, bishop to d7, which is what they played. Was that the best? Looks like bishop to d7. They're saying, computer says that's the second best move. So here, we could go ahead and capture that bishop immediately. It also likes this c4 move. And then here, if they captured our bishop and we recapture with the pawn here, well then we could just recapture, or excuse me, if they capture our bishop, we capture with the pawn. That kind of blocks this knight in here. It gains some space for us on the queen side. All right, e6 or a6 is what they recommended. If they play a6, it recommends that we just capture their good bishop. We give up our bad bishop, which was blocked in by pawns that are on the same color square as our bishop, for their good bishop that is on the opposite colored squares of these central pawns here. So now we're just trying to develop. So knight to c3, it looks like that's the move to play. They should play knight to c6 here so that we can't trade bishops off. But they go for the third best move, g6. We castle. Once again, it wants us to get rid of that bishop, which, yeah, I probably should have done that. So they develop, getting ready to castle. Once again, we should knock out the bishop, and we don't. We go for the center pawn push, which is, looks like all these moves are about even. So we push forward. Oh, it actually wanted h3 so that we couldn't, so they can't pin, well, they can't pin us because of this bishop. Okay, well, capture is best. Now we should take the bishop, but we don't. We capture with the knight. And they want them to block this attack on the bishop. So finally we take that bishop and they recapture with the knight. Although it looks like it would have been better to capture with the queen, and then maybe you could jump your knight up here attacking our knight. So f3 is played, and the computer did not like that, saying that's a mistake that swings the game in black's favor. We should have played bishop to e3 here immediately, developing, and they should play a6 to keep the knights out of this b5 square, or queen down to a5 here. Maybe putting some pressure on this knight that could team up with the bishop. So if the queen and bishop are both piling up on this knight, that could, could potentially give black some way to attack the queen side later in the game. All right, so what do we have now? In the game, we had f3, and then they played knight to e5, which was a miss. Queen to a5 would keep the game in their favor. So it's the only move that keeps a slight edge with black. Queen to a5, and here, what are they doing with that move? They're piling up on this knight, and then maybe this bishop could come down here. The best move looks like knight to a4. Oh, and also maybe this move threatens to attack both of these pawns and the knight. So the queen could try and jump up here to b4, attacking this c pawn and b pawn, and then you wouldn't be able to protect by pushing the pawn forward, or they could snatch up this knight, or the queen could snatch up the knight. So bishop to e3, knight to a4, it says that is best. Watch the computer change its mind, because putting that knight on the edge doesn't look too good there. But I guess that would, the knight here would allow you to push this pawn forward, if the queen attacks both pawns, and the knight would be protected. But bishop to e3, it recommended that as being best. And then we have a rook to the c file. So which one? Probably that one. And then knight up to d5 here. Oh, threatening to fork. So knight up to d5, threatening to fork the king and the rook. Although now they want this knight here to drop back and attack the queen. All right, because here you just have knight takes d5, c takes d5, and rook to c4 attacking. We could play queen up to d3 here. All right, yeah, here, attacking. All right. Then rook back up to c7. I guess you would not want to double rooks up. Okay, well, let's get back to the game here. So we traded off bishops. F3 was played to keep the knight out, or to help fortify this e pawn. They missed an opportunity to bring their queen over here, so we play b3 to protect this pawn, and now they instead want this e6 pawn move. So now we're developing. They attack our knight, which is okay. We just develop our queen, although computer actually liked queen to d3. Okay. Now here, should I have gone for their bishop? I couldn't because of this knight being under attack. But maybe I could have traded off here and then gone after that bishop. So they wanted me to go here immediately. All right. We just start maneuvering. We trade off. Queen move here is a mistake because it lets me go after this pawn. So it would have been better to attack here. Then we capture. They could either capture or go to g5. And then we could block. So what is better? Should I do that? That kind of pulls my queen into the center. So instead it liked this move to attack our queen. Then we have to go bishop to e3 because they're lined up on the queen and the rook. And now they should capture. And this kind of pulls our queen off to the side, and we're no longer piling up on that pawn. And then we have what? Rook to c6 here. Although now queen to c7 is recommended. Okay. Queen to c7. And what do we do here? Push the a pawn or the h pawn to gain space. Okay, back to the game. The mistake was made here of moving this queen up. Did we miss our opportunity? No. We capture the knight, then we go after the pawn, and queen to a5 is the best move. The computer says that's a great move. Queen to d2 is best here. And we did find that. Now, queen to a3 is best. I don't know. This kind of maneuvering with a 1600 player, it makes me wonder if they had a little computer assistance. Maybe I'm imagining things. What happens next? Now it's saying I should go with queen to f2. Did I do that? No. I think I thought about that at some point. All right, but I wanted to go here and protect this pawn. Now it's saying I should have gone up here. And then maybe push this pawn forward and protect the bishop and pawn. All right. So what do they play? They attack the queen. Rook at c to d8. They recommended using the other rook. But here, this was an inaccuracy. We should have gone after the queen here. All right. We should have gone after the queen. Queen to c1. Let's see how this would play out. Then they should go ahead and capture, pulling our queen back. because we're in check. Now they're saying a queen retreat would have been better. So let's look at that. The queen retreat back to here. They're saying that is best. Well, now what should we do? Rook at C to D2. We should go ahead and just line up here. Then A5, they start pushing, getting ready to break these pawns apart. We capture, they capture. We just continue to trade, pulling their bishop to the back rank. And then king over to what? F1. King to F1. And now it wants us to go up here to protect our bishop, I guess. So at least that move protects our bishop. You have a check. We can block with G3, sending that back. Although it recommends moving the king to the center. All right, back to the game. Queen to E2 was played. Here they should push their A pawn. What did they do? They trade off material. The rook attacks our queen. And what do we do here? We play that, although they wanted us to move over here and attack the queen again. All right, and that is a mistake. What should they have played? Rook captures would have been better. So rook captures, queen captures, and H5 should be played. And then we should play H3. Okay, in the game, queen to A5, that was their mistake. We start trading off. It says that is a great move. They capture with the queen, although a bishop capture is preferred. Now we should just trade queens off. And at this point, it says we have a pretty good advantage. Bishop has to capture. And now, what? B4. So, yeah, these pawn endgames can be tricky. So, it wants B4 to be played. Okay, let's take a look at this because this could be pretty instructive. B4, they want us to just get these pawns moving. Bishop to E7, attacking the pawn, and then A3 to protect it. Now, F5 is recommended, trying to get rid of pawns because you're behind in material. You want to trade as many pawns as you can. King should go up to F2. Bishop here to D6, aiming at this pawn. G3 or H3. So, if we play that, the only bad thing it restricts the bishop, but it keeps our pawns on the same colored squares where they can come under attack. So, capture. Capture. Now we have an isolated weak pawn here. King to F8. Although they'd rather us go here to F7. King to E2. And king over to E8 or E7. Where do we go? Let's say they go there. And C5. So finally we go here. It says that's excellent, but it liked D3 better, which might be better because you want to get your king up into the center. Then we have, bishop to E7. They're saying that's best. Threatening maybe to come down here and attack these pawns at some point. Now H4. H4 or H3. Maybe I would play H3 to get off of those squares. And they actually wanted our king to move forward. So, if you have H5, C5 once again, they're recommending that. King up to D7. A4. King to C8. Now they're saying we should have pushed that. Bishop up to D4. And they wanted our king to come forward. So bishop to G5. Bishop to G7. Well, let's do that. They keep recommending. See, now they don't want that move. They want us to trade the bishops off. But anyway, this would have been a little better, I guess, trying to break open, well, end up with a passed pawn over here, and then maybe our king could try and go after these pawns. In the game, it kind of played out like this. I don't know. All these moves are okay, according to the computer. We did let their king kind of get over here into our position. They wanted that move to drop back, then maybe try and get our king up here closer. Okay, that was a mistake. And it looks like we should be winning now. They should have played bishop to D8. So bishop to D8, white would still be ahead. Here we should play, what, bishop to E3? Or F2. Now it's saying F2 is even better. Bishop to F2. And then what, H5? All right, anyway, let's see why this is a mistake for them. What should we even do here? Bishop to C5 check, which we did not do. We should have checked here. Oh, that would have moved the king back. All right. We played A3 and just defended the pawn, but we should have done that. Driving the king away to E6. Then play B5. Oh, man. B5. They would capture. We capture. And king over here to D5. Now, which way should we go? Yeah, this is hard to see. So this is why you might want to study endgames and just go over different endings like this, because they can become a little complicated. So now our bishop and our pawn is blocking the king out over here. So what should they do? It says bishop to E5 or bishop to D6. Maybe this move, because then you threaten to attack. And now they're saying go back the other way. Back that way to keep an eye on this pawn. Oh, it didn't like that. Well, it says that's best, and white's advantage jumped even higher. So, I don't know. Now we just move over here. King up to D6, trying to get in front of this passed pawn. King up to C4. Anyway, you get the idea. They're going to have to watch out for these pawns now. So in the game, they were just able to trade off here. And after some more play... Oh, wait, what was that? Okay, it said we should have gone here immediately, which we didn't. We push that, they capture, but that's a mistake. What should they have done? They should have played bishop to G3 to stop these pawns. And then what? B6, we should just march up the board. B6, the king would have to come over and try and stop this pawn. And anyway, they played that move. Were we able to take advantage of it? Well, we played the best move, but I guess we didn't follow it up in the best way. King to d5, and now we played b6, and it did not like this move. Instead, it's saying we should move our king over. Then you have bishop to a5 check, which is what I thought they would do. King back to d3. Bishop to d8. And now bishop to f2. Or e3. Bishop to f6. We'll just play this out a little bit. Bishop up to e3. Yeah, I think the computer has trouble with these kind of end games like this where you have to slowly try and make progress. It says bishop to e5. Then what do we do here? Does it like this move now? No. It wants us to drop back to here. Then they should go back to here. Yeah, see, the computer is just not helping as much here. All right, so we just keep playing. Oh, here's another inaccuracy. It would have been better to centralize the bishop, bring it back here to the center. Now what? Let's see. We should play king over to c3. And then king up here, attacking the pawn. King, to c4? Would that be good? Bishop to f4. Keeping the king maybe out. Well, now they want us to go here instead. Okay, I'm going to end it. Let me try and get a little bit further in this. I'll try and speed it along, but I want to not drag this out so much. Okay, didn't like that move. What would be better? Instead, bishop to e7. Then what would we do? Then we should capture. We capture. They capture. And then, then they want b7. b7 or bishop to e5. Okay, anyway, we had that, capture, and now h5 is a mistake. What should they have done instead? Bishop to g3, dropping back to stop this pawn, the h-pawn from moving forward. And then what would we do? King, bishop. All right, let's just see why this was a mistake. We captured, and that is a miss. We should have pushed forward. So they wanted that move. Then bishop to e7, targeting that. But we could just do that. Although now they want us to move that. All right, like I said, the computer is just not as helpful in these kind of end games. All right, so we'll just kind of play out what happened. Yeah, at this point, once this pawn goes, the passed pawn, maybe I needed to move my king over to this side of the board. But the computer's saying the game is pretty much a draw. So it's a draw. White has a slight edge, maybe according to this, but here it says it's dead even. So, yeah, we just chase each other around the board. The bishop could have just moved back and forth, and I can't push the pawn, or he could have just captured the pawn, and then you can't win with a king and bishop versus a king. So, all right, I'll end it here. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to leave comments, questions, any requests for future videos. So thank you for watching and have a super chess day.